Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then hit the subscribe button because you will find my videos interesting. Like and be part of the interesting conversations by simply dropping your thoughts in the comment section below. Today we look at an interesting topic concerning the fascinating exploration of individuals wrestling with the enigma of lacking internal congruence. Join me as we unravel the intricacies of this internal struggle, understanding the complexities that shape the identities of those navigating this image of conflicting thoughts and emotions. Get ready for a thought-provoking journey into the minds of individuals embracing the challenge of finding harmony within themselves. Now, in this video, a palm color man is heard saying that one of the main reasons a lot of palm color people are unhappy in this world is because they lack internal congruence. Could this be the reason why they try to make everybody else unhappy? These are not my words, it's his words. I'm just repeating after him. But hey, check out these videos. I will be right back, and when I do, we talk more about internal congruence.
Can we talk about how miserable people are for a second? Like, you know that people are miserable, right? Like, have you ever looked a person in the eye, even if they're like a big mental health person? You just look deep down and you're like, brother, you are not happy at all. And truly, it breaks my heart. But one reason, I think, one of the main reasons that a lot of us are really unhappy and miserable is because we lack internal congruence. Now, congruence is a concept we learned early in grad school to help people heal. And congruence is basically internal alignment. Values and actions are on the same page, right? Like, we accept every part of ourselves. We feel peace, security in who we are, congruence. And no matter how hard you try, you can never find internal congruence if you're not congruent with the world around you. If you're not understanding what's real and seeing reality and affirming what's true. So deny patriarchy and capitalism's negative effect and oppression of the world and genocide that's happening around the world. Like, that's incongruent with reality. That is going to have an effect on us internally. Because to deny what's happening in real time, we have to deny certain parts of us, certain emotions, certain thoughts that come up. And the more we run for that, the more incongruent and separate we feel, the more dissonance that comes, the more miserable we are. And a lot of times we're not actually dealing with our own pain and our own reality because we're all suffering under capitalism and see, like, it affects us different ways in intersectionality, but like, it affects us too. You don't think a stormtrooper or his movies hates his life? You don't think he hates being bossed around all the time? You don't think poor living in the empire, like in a city walls, like in a Game of Thrones, like, you don't think that they're miserable under it, even though they're not miserable the most? To be congruent inside, to not be miserable anymore, it takes accepting the realities of the world, seeing how those toxic systems affect us, and then moving to actually be congruent. Because deep down, humanity has goodness at its center. So yeah, we're miserable because we're not congruent, because we're denying the realities of the world, and thus denying ourselves.
To a certain extent, I think that's why so many people are adamant on being like the world's loudest advocates or activism people under the sun. Because then they can just try to not focus on how unhappy they are and instead try to make everyone else around them unhappy because, well, the world anyway. And here's my thing with that, right? Full transparency, the world is. I can go on full rants and tirades about how everything's to a degree, everyone can agree, gender problems are a real thing, America's under fire, but then so are other countries because we can't even settle on the idea of should we allow another country. Well, so that's, where we're at with life. For years and years, we've been fighting tooth and nail for a lot of these things, and a lot of general are just now getting involved in these things. And that's why I've said we need to be more honest with ourselves about two major red flags in our lives, especially when it comes to things like content creation, influencers, activists, etc. Just as much as we talk about how people who say no politics are dangerous, people who make their entire personality into activism are also dangerous. Because I can tell you with conviction, the biggest people that I ban from the wine cellar on a regular basis are supposedly well-meaning, but not really, who come in and they want to lecture everyone and their mom about how atrocious the world is, as though we do not have front row seats to that something. And I love that he brought up even things like mental health people and whatnot, because those be some of the worst ones. People who are just like, I'm a mental health advocate, I want to make sure everyone can take care of their best them and blah, 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 blah. And they're in the back eating like 6 pounds of fudge on a daily basis saying, don't judge me for my eating habits, I'm still taking calories. And it's like, no, this isn't the time to be an activist. We are actually concerned because you need like more than just 6 pounds of fudge for your day. Yes, depression is real and anxiety is real and not being able to go to a therapist to get diagnosed is real. All those are very accurate things, but none of us need to be a therapist to know that you are literally tormenting your insides right now. Let's dial it back a little bit. Yeah, it's why I've stopped doing so much activism stuff my damn self, because, like, obviously I do it on here because it's easy to do and I can just talk about it. Okay, Drew makes jokes, but he has a point. It's easier for me to do a 3 to 10 minute video than to write on Twitter for an hour. Jesus Christ, that was a horrible timeline. But I've just grown exhausted of the overwhelming number who will come onto my posts and whatnot to prove with every fiber of their being how aware they are that the world is bad, how aware they are that things are terrible. And then what happens after that is that they inject themselves into it. And I can't decide if it's because it's kind of like an overstimulation thing. They just are amazed at how bad the world is, or if it's because they want to be the center of attention, because we also know that we'll fight tooth and nail to find ways that they're oppressed. This is why, again, the main people I've banned from the wine cellar en masse have been who, if they get told that their worldview is off even by like a millimeter, they have complete explosions and attacks on the entire community, and they are fast to remind you things about how they're autistic, they're ADHD, they're disabled, they're trans, oh, they're neurodivergent, and blah, 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 blah. Again, you're telling this to people who have front row seats to this. And I think it makes certain people really angry when someone like me, who has been oppressed from like multiple different angles, like you have to remember, my grandmother was one of the first black people in America to vote. That is not something to be proud of. That is something to be terrified of, because that means that it's only 3 generations away that I've been capable of voting, and y'all will bully us to do so. So like, that's where I am, and that's like the background noise of my life. And I think it really bothers a lot of them that with that as my background noise of my life, with having to wrestle with gender stuff as I do on a regular basis, becoming a she, they, and really, really being happy about it, having to wrestle with a lot of transgressions, microaggressions, all of that stuff, and then having the nerve to find joy amongst all that really makes people angry. Like, they want you to be just pissed off all the time, and I refuse. I won't do it. I know why the world hates me, and I hate the world back. Everyone who has a problem with me can step on goddamn and just swallow lies, I'm concerned. But trust when I say I'm still going to find happiness in this life. And that's a point blank period thing. I can fight for better and still be happy that I got my lashes done this week. And that makes a lot of them really angry because they want to be angry all the time.
What this gentleman is talking about, like that lacking of, when your entire self is not unified. Now, the West has always insisted that the totality of our being is this physical thing, this physical being that you see. And that's what they study in medicine. So they study this and they are like anatomy, physiology, and whatever. And they insist that this is the totality of the human experience, which is this body. But you, me, whoever, everyone knows that we're so much more than this. We are our thoughts, we are our memories, our goals, we are our fears, we are the people that we've met during the day. Like, we flirt with this idea in the public space. Actually, all the movies that we're making are like, oh, he just lost his memory, will he still love her the same? All of those things, right? And that aspect of us also gets injured. So the more that you observe and inflict all those horrors onto that energetic space, the more that you like the debris that's coming out of the heart. So that's why every single like unaliving party that they went to, they lost a little bit of humanity with every single video of like a police pew-pewing that they have kept on their phones and watched and shared, and are like really glued like every single time, and many more other things. Like, their spiritual entity has been hurt, it has been injured, and it gets to the point of unaliving. Like, you get your spirit injured to the point of unaliving. So the good thing is that as long as you draw breath in this physical body, you can always revive your spiritual self. But you have to go and take extra care and take care of that part by being in touch with what's happening in the world, and really, really stop lying to yourself about your position in the world and see the harm that is being made. So a lot of people who have been historically powerful are generations deep into this spiritual unaliving. Now, when it comes to understanding congruence in NLP is when behavior, word, tonality, physiology, etc. matches the words and actions a person says and does. It is is a rapport within oneself, or internal and external consistency perceived by others as sincerity or certainty. Now, Carl Rogers coined the term congruency to describe the match or fit between an individual's inner feelings and outer display. The congruent person is genuine, real, integrated, whole, and transparent. The non-congruent person tries to impress, plays a role, puts up a front, and hides behind a facade. Rogers realized that congruence between feelings and actions can never be total, but his experience convinced him that choosing to be real with others is the single most important decision a person can make. So a healthy individual will tend to see congruence between their sense of who they are and who they feel they should be. While no one tends to experience perfect congruence at all times, some argue the relative degree of congruence is an indicator of health. Some researchers have tried to measure congruence by using a self-assessment technique called a Q-sort. Now, congruence is associated with awareness and constitutes the state of a person who is genuine, whole, integrated, without faked, adjusted, while incongruence, congruence polar opposite, is linked with denial and distortion to awareness. So it is the term we have used to indicate an accurate matching of experiencing and awareness. It may be still further extended to cover a matching of experience, awareness, and communication. The congruent individual is one unified person all the way through, whether we tap his experience at the visceral, gut, organistic, or physiological level, the level of his awareness, consciousness, or symbolization, or the level of communication. Now, Rogers stated that when the feelings a person is experiencing are available to him, available to his awareness, as well as being able to leave these feelings, be them, and able to communicate them if appropriate, then this is congruence. Thus, whether he's angry or affectionate or ashamed or enthusiastic, we sense that he is the same at all levels in what he's experiencing at an organic level, in his awareness at the conscious level, and in his words and communications. Now, a person lacking internal congruence may exhibit inconsistency between their beliefs, values, and actions, leading to inner conflict and a lack of harmony in their thoughts and behaviors. Their behavior towards people of another race may be inconsistent and influenced by internal conflicts, so they might struggle with biases or stereotypes, impacting their interactions and potentially displaying varying attitudes towards individuals of different races. Now, this lack of internal congruence could manifest in unpredictable ways, ranging from subtle biases to overt discriminatory actions. The person may grapple with conflicting beliefs about diversity and inclusion, leading to challenges in building genuine and respect relationships with individuals from other races. Now, in social situations, their discomfort with internal incongruence might result in awkward interactions or avoidance of diverse environments. They may struggle to automatically engage with people from different races due to unresolved internal conflicts about their own attitudes and beliefs. What do you, my viewers, have to say about this video? Kindly share your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and see you in my next video.